1, 2, 3, clap. Hi, and welcome to Hey Buddy, Nice Podcast. Over in Scotland, sipping on some juice without the gin. That's Brogan Hastings.
And sipping on a Pepsi Max because he won't call it juice, it's Wayne Giovinazzi. We have matching cups and almost matching straws.
Penn and Teller cups. Mine's a stripy white and red straw. Yours is just red and white on the inside.
Yeah.
Oh, we're not quite twinsies. But I noticed on my Penn and Teller cup, the Rio logo is like printed off center. I can't show you it because it's black against Pepsi Max. So not off center, but it's cut off. The O is cut off. Anyway, we're doing a podcast, not talking about cups.
Yeah.
How are you, Brogan? It feels like it's been almost 2 weeks since we've recorded an episode.
For absolutely no reason. It doesn't feel like ages since we've talked on air.
Yeah. Well, look, as everyone is aware, technology hates us.
Technology hates
and it
you.
decided to me. You were part of this. You were part of it. It wanted to work against us. So we're actually we're using some different software. We're using an internet-based recording thing. So hopefully it's going to work well, or just work. But I guess first we have to say thank you, Chris, for letting us use our Who Scoops podcast episodes.
Thanks, buddy.
As emergency fillers. We appreciate it, mate. But technology sucks. But so we're not going to reference it. Like there was at least 1.5. The second episode was all right, but the first one that was really good, and you're never going to get to hear it.
I know, but do you know what? It was very dental based. So
oh yes,
you know.
Look, we're not going to talk about it. We're not going to talk about what we talked about. But Brogan was not doing great.
No, I had a tooth removed. It was not good. I was still talking funny. I've since recovered.
But we're not going to talk about it.
We're not going to talk about it. No.
But you did go to the dentist, which you can see from your window, as we've discussed previously.
Yeah, I walked there, got my tooth taken out, walked back home. It was not fun.
But we're not going to talk about it because we've already.
We're also not going to talk about the fact that I've also since chipped my tooth.
Oh, look, I think you were not alone in this. I believe I have also got a chipped tooth now. But were you doing something stupid?
No, I was eating freaking plant-based pigs in blankets.
Piggies in blankets.
Yeah, so crunchy plant-based bacon chipped my front tooth. The front, you can't even tell. I can tell because it's got a little pointy end. It's annoying.
See, mine is behind. It's the back of a tooth, but it's between two teeth where I got. They both got fillings, right, on the sides, and I think it was a bit of filling that had been there for ages.
Yeah,
that has chipped. So I think it's just like whatever it is, it feels like a hole. Well, a chip in the tooth. But we're not going to talk about teeth or anything because we covered that last week, which didn't actually happen, which isn't seeing the light of day because it just doesn't exist.
Yeah.
So we're not going to rehash old stuff.
Yeah. We now have multiple backups of this episode.
Oh, yeah. We're recording it in multiple different ways.
Yeah.
Oh, you know what? There is something else we are going to rehash. And that was, we did we did an unscheduled, unannounced ad break. I
can't even. Oh, no, I do remember what it was for. Yes.
Yeah, sure. All right. Well, we'll do that later. We don't know when, though, because it's unscheduled. It's going to be unannounced. It could happen at any time.
Yeah.
It's like we could just be talking along and then this record scratching might kick in. Oh, yeah. It's time for an unannounced, unscheduled ad break. That's right. Already.
How's that
what are we talking about? Yeah. It's like we knew what we were going to do.
Exactly.
But we did this last week when it was more relevant because it was the right time for it. Now it's kind of a bit behind the times, but I figure we should still talk about it. Should we?
Yeah, we would like to give our most hearty congratulations to our good buddy. What is the title, Wayne? That I can never remember.
I believe. Oh, you mean to our very close and personal friend of the hosts of the podcast, Hey Buddy Nice Podcast, who was also a host of another podcast. His title is almost as glamorous as that.
Exactly. He has the longest title of any of us. Formerly Lord Mr. Dr. Jimothy Esquire, now King Lord Mr. Dr. Jimothy Esquire.
You're missing his surname, and it's making me feel a bit squishy on the inside. I don't like it.
My apologies. Full and complete title being King Lord Mr. Dr. Jimothy Bartholomew Esquire.
There we go.
King of the Therapists in Best of Las Vegas 2022.
Yep. I was thinking about it. Right? I can't remember if we talked about it. We're not going to talk about it because we already talked about it.
Yeah.
But was it on those recordings we talked about Esquire, or was that like the week before or something?
I think it was the week before.
Either. Okay, good. So people at least know what I'm talking about, because we discovered that I don't think he gets the title Esquire, because the title Esquire is only applied to people who don't have a title. I think we discovered.
I don't think that matters in the case of King Lord Mr. Dr. Jimothy Bartholomew Esquire, because he just gets all the titles.
I'll allow it.
So congratulations, Jim. We're very proud of you. And we're very proud of Pumpkin, who obviously got all the treats because people were voting.
Yep. I'm not going to lie. That is the only reason why I voted, was so Pumpkin would not be starving to death.
It's very much enjoyed those videos.
Dr. Jim.
I very much enjoyed them.
But yeah, and for those who don't know, which I'd be very surprised, because we've mentioned King Lord Mr. Dr. Jimothy Bartholomew Esquire multiple times, and his podcast with his friend. I mean, I assume they're friends. Maybe it's just a colleague. Maybe it's a work relationship.
Who knows?
Mr. Nick Tangeman.
He's Dr. Nick.
No, he's not. He's not a doctor.
He's Dr. Nick because Jim has all those titles.
That's right. And we were going to give him an honorary doctorate, but we don't know if we are allowed to, and we don't know what it would be in.
Doctorate for heart. That's just happening.
And
I guess Jacob's there too.
Yeah, Jacob does his thing. But yeah, listen to what are they called? Pod therapy. Yep. Look, we talked about it last week. As if we haven't mentioned them
400 times.
We talked about it last week, so I'm not rehashing it. I'm not going over it. But when I listen to Pod Therapy, I have to do something else at the same time. But that's why I couldn't think of its name. I was thinking more about the stuff that I do when I listen to Pod Therapy. Like I might clean the house, or I might draw a comic or something.
Oh, it's the cleaning podcast.
One time, I finished drawing my comic and I tidied up a bit. I put the dishes in the dishwasher. That's what I did when listening. Usually I listen to it while I'm at work, like when I'm balancing air.
We go.
So if I'm balancing air, I guess the therapists are balancing people's mind. Yeah,
fair enough.
Sure.
I don't know. That sounds fine. But anyway, yes, go support King Lord Mr. Dr. Jimothy Bartholomew Esquire, Dr. Nick, and I guess Jacob at Pod Therapy. Yeah. We love them. We support them.
You can support Jacob anywhere. You don't need to, but we should probably get back to the regularly scheduled episodes. So yeah, I don't know. We'll have to do the ad, but we'll probably do it later or something, I guess. Yeah. So in all seriousness, I don't want to rehash the stuff that we talked about because one, it's hard to remember it. Two, I feel like maybe the topics that we talked about were cursed and they should have been deleted from human history.
Yeah, that's very possible. It was. We did say at the time, this is the kind of episode that if Matt Donnelly heard, he would delete it. So for all we know, that's what happened.
Yes, it was very mouth and tooth centric. I've just noticed you've got some tea light candles going on. Are you going for like a spa scene or something in your room?
No,
what's the deal with the candles?
I have many Christmas candles. I just like them. I just like the smell. I can't even remember what it's.
I'm going to say it smells. Oh, I can't say it on the podcast. Damn it, because he might listen. But I got. So I showed you. I already showed you it. The thing that I got for Matt.
Yes.
To take with us to the churn. The scent of it is black pepper and bergamot.
Ooh.
I understand what black pepper smells like. I mean, it smells like sneezes, but bergamot, I don't know. Apparently, it's a flower and not a hamburger.
If I see bergamot on a candle, I'm inclined to buy it. But I think it's like mandarin clove and cinnamon, that kind of. It's a Christmassy smell, you know?
Yeah.
Because I tend to buy Christmas candles and then not go through them all and put them in the box for next year. So
you have a collection of them.
Yeah, this is me burning through the remains of the Christmas candle.
I bought a candle last year, and it was, what was it? It was like a little, very small one, and it was scented. It was scented cherry chupa chups. Yep, it smelled like chemicals. It wasn't good.
One of my favorite candles, which I do have over here. It's not a Christmas candle, but it's what I like to refer to as my AML candle, which is sea kelp and samphire.
Sea kelp and samphire smells like bullshit to me.
Yes,
that's me reading the candle. I'm not saying that.
Yes, that's what I liked when I'm being told bullshit.
Yes, I just noticed that you're wearing your pod therapy shirt. Very appropriate.
I am. Yes, it's a comfy shirt.
So speaking of things that I can see, what's the raccoon dude? The pop vinyl? Is it a rocket raccoon or is it something else?
So I have some Christmas decorations up in here. A Christmas edition Rocket Raccoon Funko bobblehead. He's very cute. The one you can't see over here, R2-D2 with his antlers on.
Yep. So is that? I thought that was a Scooby-Doo, but it's a bunny.
It's a bunny
the blue scarf.
With the blue scarf.
And I see some foxes up there as well, next to that green book. Are they always there?
No, they come out at Christmas. I've got the foxes. I've got a stag there. I have a stag there.
Yep. You got a badger.
And you can't see him, but there's a little robin up there.
Mr. Piffles. I see a Mr. Piffles up there too.
The Piffles on the random magic shelf and a robin.
Yep. I see Mr. Piffles up there, and it just makes me think of one of my favourite Piff jokes in the show when he's on top of the tacular. And it's like, no, buddy, don't do it. It's not worth it, as if he's going to jump off to his death.
Yeah.
That's what it looks like Mr. Piffles.
Oh, and the badger.
Badger. The only thing, anytime, I can only say badger in that badger way because of the cartoon Animals of Farthing Wood. God. Are you familiar?
Yeah, it's been years since I've seen that. Jeez,
Naturally, of course, me and my brother would call it the Animals of Fucking Wood. But no, the little mole guy would always say badger like that. So that's anytime I see a badger, that's what I hear.
Does that mean you don't automatically think of Wind in the Willows?
No, I don't like Wind in the Willows. I've never seen it. I don't. There's something I don't like about it. I've offended you to your very core.
Oh, God.
Brogan is getting up and leaving. Wow, I've done it this time. It's bad enough that I offend dead people, but...
I collect editions of Wind in the Willows. I have the one illustrated by Ian Moore. I have the annotated edition. I have...
Look at this. Brogan flexing on the Wind in the Willows here.
I have the one illustrated by Robert Ickpen. And I have...
Oh, that is the exact badger from Wind of the Willows, is it?
Yes.
And okay.
And this is Dave Peterson, which everybody will know is the mouse guard guy.
That's what the animated cartoon looks like, isn't it? That one. Yeah. I think that's what I don't like, is the animated cartoon.
The absolute best adaptation of Wind in the Willows ever is the film by Terry Jones. And I'm not just saying that because I'm a Monty Python fan, but it's genuinely got the best story. It's got a great cast. It's just so, so good. And if you ever have a chance, anybody listening to this, if you ever have a chance to watch it because it's good.
I guess I'm never going to have a chance to watch it. That's my excuse. Okay, how long is it? How long does it go for?
It's like 90 minutes. It's not a long film.
Okay.
90 minutes is a children's film.
Yes, by today's standards, it's not a long film. I have trouble just sitting through a half-hour TV show, and they're 19 minutes nowadays.
It's got Eric Idle in it. It's got Michael Palin. It's got John Cleese. It's got Steve Coogan. It's just good. It's just a good film.
Eric Idle is in Australia at the moment, or was just recently. Yeah, and Michael Sheen as well.
Really?
Because Michael Sheen is doing a show at Sydney Opera House. I don't know what it is. Mm-hmm. It's not like the Michael Sheen one-man show. He's playing a role in something, but I just forget what it is. I saw it on Twitter yesterday or the day before. Yeah, I just trek over to Sydney quick,
Yeah, no problem for you.
I'll just drive over. It's like, you know how you drove to Oxford and it was like, 7 hours or something like that?
Yeah.
It would take me a couple of days to drive to Sydney.
Oh, yeah. Sometimes I forget how far away things are. Like, for example, This is going to be incredibly vague and will make no sense to anybody but me, but you'll understand.
Okay, good.
So I sent something to Brian Brushwood, our good friend Shwood, that I kind of need him to get to Godot.
Oh, okay.
And I saw, or it would be handy if he got it to Godot, because I saw that Godot was in Texas. And I was like, yes, get it, take it to Godot. That'd be great. Chris asked me, where is Godot playing? And I was like, oh, in Alpine, Texas. He's like, yeah. Do you know how far away that is from Austin, Texas? I was like, no, it's a fucking 6-hour drive.
Yeah. I think they were talking about it on one of the podcasts I listened to, where it's like you can drive for 7 hours in Texas and still be in Texas.
Yep. That's very much. Yeah. And like Austin's in the middle of Texas. So
yeah.
So that dashed my hopes and dreams.
See, I feel like you live a very that sounds weird, like a weird insult, that you live a very small life.
I do.
But I mean, in terms of, well, sure, maybe you do, but I mean in terms of where you live.
In terms of travel and places that I've traveled to, Dundee is a long drive for me. That's an hour and 45 minutes.
Okay.
That's
sometimes
a long
I drive that to work.
Yeah, that's a trek. I'm not going to Dundee. I don't have time for that. Fuck that.
Anytime I hear Dundee, I mean, I assume there's a Dundee in Australia, hence Crocodile Dundee. There must be.
There must be, yeah.
I'm not going to look it up because I don't want to type.
No.
So where have you been? How many places do you think you've been to in Europe?
Europe, not a lot.
Yeah, not a lot. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Because I'm replaying. Have you played the game Unpacking?
No, I keep meaning to. I've got it on my wish list, and we'll get it when it's on sale. But no, I've not played it yet.
Okay. Or if you've got the Game Pass, Xbox Game Pass, I think it's still on there. If you don't have Game Pass, don't just
that
ignore
means
what I'm
setting
saying.
up my Xbox.
Yeah. But I'm replaying it, and that's what made me think about asking you how many places you've traveled to, because like some of the stuff you unpack, it's like, yep, there's a little Eiffel Tower, here's a little London, what do they call, double-decker bus, here's a Leaning Tower of Pisa, so it's all these things. Oh, this person who I'm unpacking for has been to a lot of places. I wonder if Brogan's been to a lot of these places. Probably.
I've been to I've done like day trips places. Like we've done a cruise that went round, I want to say Spain, Italy, and France. So there was like 2 stops per country. So I've been to Corsica, Milan, whatever.
So
I don't know.
You're pretty close to Spain, or
we're relatively close. Like,
so you could just go and see Jandro or something.
I probably could. I mean, it would be like. I mean, it's probably not that bad now I think about it. Like a 3-hour plane flight, I think.
Yeah,
which isn't bad. I probably could just go and see Jandro. You
could. You wouldn't understand much because you do not speak Spanish.
No. I'd be standing there going, Jandro!
and you know what? Jandro, he'll probably see you and be like, I fucking remember you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't lose to people.
Yeah.
I don't lose to Penn and Teller, and I most certainly don't lose to you.
For those who don't know, Brogan competed against and defeated Jandro in the it's not really annual, but the traditional the
Scoopfest Accent Challenge 2022.
There you go. Yeah,
I kicked his motherfucking ass, much to Penn's disgust.
Oh yeah. We've got the photos to prove it.
We have the photos and the videos.
To post that. Yeah.
And genuinely one of my favorite moments of that is when Jandro was like, "You bring down the trophy." He's just so used to doing things and getting a trophy.
Yeah. Used to having it fallen down from the ceiling.
Yep. I love him. He's so funny.
If you love him so much, why don't you marry him?
I can. He's already married.
Oh, okay. Well, my bad. Should we do it this episode? This was in the lost episodes of Hey Buddy Nice Podcast. We've both completed the book Random by Penn Jillette. Do we talk about it now, or do we talk about it next episode?
I think we should talk about it now, and then we can start fresh next episode.
All right. So up until now, we've been avoiding real spoilers for people, right? But now that we've both completed the book, we're going to spoil the fuck out of it. So if you don't want spoilers, you should avoid listening while you hear this music. That's right. It's fancy elevator music.
Yeah.
So is that loud to you? It sounds very loud to me.
It's a little bit loud, yeah.
All right, let me just adjust that. Hang on. That better?
That's better, yeah.
Yeah. It does feel like I'm in a department store in the 1970s.
Nothing wrong with that.
Yeah. All right. So this is the spoiler music, and spoilers start now. Everybody dies. That's not true.
No. A lot of people do die.
Oh, yeah, there are some deaths.
Yeah.
Hang on. I think Kez has turned on the air conditioner, and it is very loud.
I can't hear it if that makes you feel any better, but...
I'm just going to be quiet for a second, check my waveform. I'm sure it's fine. Not even worth editing out. But it's so hard to try and talk about it again. So we'll start off with the talking point. Did you have a favourite part in the book?
Yes. My favourite part of the book was... It seems such a random thing, but... random. When they're talking about... So a Gucci bag has been stolen, and it was full of money, and it was kind of stolen by Bobby. But they're looking for it, and they're trying to... People don't know that Bobby has stolen this bag, so they're trying to frame him. So what they're doing is he's one of Roof Hearts. I call him Roof Heart because that's just how Penn reads it. One of his guys.
But he reads it for a reason. He reads it for a joke.
I know.
But,
he reads...
but you.
Yeah, we'll get into that in a second. But
I just kicked the table.
But one of his guys is talking to one of the gang members about the bag, and he's trying to get a description. And the guy says, "It's Gucci coloured." And he's like, "Gucci's not a colour." Yeah, no, it was Gucci coloured. And this conversation goes on for like 3 minutes.
I feel like a Gucci could be a colour.
I feel like it should be a colour. Yeah. I imagine it to be tan.
Tan. It's been out in the sun for a little while, you know.
Yeah.
Got a nice glow to it.
Yeah.
See, I picture it as like that sort of, brownish, darkish tan with the... Oh, no, sort of darkish brown with almost tan Gucci. Or am I thinking Louis Vuitton?
Who knows? I don't know my designers.
I don't. No.
Designers is not my specialist subject.
What is your... No, we're not going to ask you what your specialist subject, because we just already learned that it is the wind in the willows.
I have many special interests.
I was going to say, but then again, I can see all your shelves with all of your other specialist topics on there.
Mm-hmm. This is being recorded, so I will post a screenshot of what Wayne can see.
Oh, yeah. Or you could just take a photo of it all,
That involves
I guess.
effort.
How is it effort when you've got a device in your pocket most day, I assume in your pocket, which has a camera built into it?
Oh, you mean take a picture of what's actually behind me, not the screen?
Why would you take a photo of the screen when you've got the real thing in the room?
That's what I was like... I genuinely thought you were saying take a picture of the screen rather than screenshot it. I was like, why the fuck would I do that?
I don't know. I don't know why you would do that, Brogan. Why would you do that?
I don't know.
Yeah. Now I've just totally forgot what we're talking about.
Random. We're talking about random, your favourite part.
That's right, because the spoiler movie music's playing. I mean, favourite part. You can't go past the Piff, obviously.
Yeah.
The Piff chapter. Because it seems true to life. Mm-hmm. And actually, I had an idea for a drawing, right? Because he's described as being in his, what we would call his human disguise.
Yes.
Basically out of dragon costume. And he's wearing a Legend of Zelda shirt. What I want to draw is Piff the Magic Dragon as the Magic Dragon, just wearing a Legend of Zelda shirt.
Yes. So you're picturing that. I was picturing almost the same thing, but... in his actual human disguise, but the exact same pose, holding like a mug of coffee, grumpy, just like the t-shirt and the boxers, and then you can wipe it out, and it's exact same pose, but in the dragon outfit.
Yeah. But the Johnny part was good as well.
Oh, Johnny!
Obviously,
I love that.
The thing is, though, it's not meant to be like a feely part of the book,
not.
But it can't help but be it because
it genuinely just makes me sad that I never got the chance to meet Johnny Thompson.
And by all accounts, like, god damn it, I'm saying the exact same thing we said last time, and it just sounds fake. It feels fake, but by all accounts, according to the book, you probably could have met Johnny.
I probably could have. I probably could have just emailed and say, Kai, can I come talk to you? Be like, fuck yeah, come on.
Yeah, exactly. But even though that was the feely part of the book, the part that was even worse than that wasn't even part of the book. It was like on the last page when he's talking about acknowledgements.
Yeah.
And it's like, read the whole book. It's like, yeah, that was good. And it's the last line. It's like, and of course, thanks to Emily, Moxie, and Zoltan, because if not for them, why bother? Or something along those lines. It's like, motherfucker, why are you doing this to me now?
Yeah.
I just finished the book and feel good about it. Thanks.
His acknowledgements almost always make me tear up because he always says something that gets me.
But also speaking end of books, have you read the chapbook yet?
No, I haven't. That's on my to-do list.
In the last story, there's a little nod to Random in it.
Oh.
Yeah. I won't spoil it.
Yeah.
It's not really a spoiler or anything.
It's a very short book.
But the spoiler music is playing.
Yeah.
I could spoil it.
It's a very short book and I am off this week, so I will...
You don't need a whole week. Why? We'll talk about this later. I was going to ask you why you're off this week, but I'm not going to because the spoiler music is playing.
Yeah.
And that is not a spoiler.
No.
So, what else did we talk about? We were talking about how the differences between listening to the audio version and reading it with your own physical eyes.
Yes, because you read it with your eyes, I read it with my ears. Because I wanted to hear it in Penn's voice. You know?
Yeah.
The man goes to the trouble of making an audiobook for it. I'm going to listen.
Yeah. I listened to Penn's audiobooks, of course, the non-fiction ones.
Yeah.
But I wanted to read this one on purpose so it didn't have Penn's voice to it. And then, of course, listening to it, after reading it, I might get some additional insight. That was my thinking.
Yeah.
But I noticed the first time we were talking about one of the major antagonists in the story that you referred to them as Rufat or something like that, right?
Yeah, I pronounce it like Roofheart because that's kind of how Penn says it, like as in roof on a house and heart as in the organ.
Yeah, so you couldn't see that in the book, the name is spelled Ruphat. Ruphat.
No, I couldn't.
Right? So throughout the whole audiobook, Penn is reading the name as Rufat, but I'm reading it all as Rupert.
Yeah.
Rupert, something like that. And then at the end of the book, there's a joke in there, which is Bobby's dad, Dave, is trying to make fun of Rupert's name. And he says, Rup fuck. And Bobby's like, what are you doing? There's an insult directly built into his name. The PH can make an F sound, so it's Rufat.
Yeah.
That means that joke didn't play in the audio version.
It did, but because he puts the emphasis on it differently.
Okay.
So while he usually says roof heart, what he says when he's doing that is roof Bart.
Okay.
You know, so you can hear the difference when he says it, and I was like, oh, of course.
So what about when he does go to confront Rufat at the end? Right, and he goes up to his Trump Tower room, penthouse suite, whatever, and the bodyguards are there, and they're like, "Why are you calling him Rufat? His name is Rupert." Did Penn pronounce it like that? Rupert? Did he say that?
I genuinely can't remember, but as far as I was a bit like, "What are you talking about?" Like, I could kind of tell that that he was like, it was essentially rather stop putting the emphasis in the wrong place than actual wording.
And of course, the problem being is that he's taken visual media and doing it in audio form, which is a stupid thing to do. Who would ever do that?
Not that you would know anything about that at all, would you?
Not at all. But there was another part, like I did talk about this on a non-spoilery part when it was approaching the Piff chapter, and I thought that they were going to go see Penn.
Yeah.
When they're talking about, we need to go talk to a magician, and then he says we have to go pay a visit to a magic dragon. That's when I was like audibly like so excited about it. And there was only one other moment in the book where I did have an audible reaction, and that was when Skiff killed, was it Billy? Is that his name? The cowboy man?
Yeah.
Yeah. just wasn't expecting it.
I kind of did, because from what I could tell from what Penn had already said, it was a murder mystery, so I expected somebody to die.
Yeah.
And considering on his thing, because I expected it to be his case that he was like, somebody's disappeared and I don't know where they are. But that wasn't the case. I was like, oh, you're dead, boy. You're fucking dead.
You gonna die.
You gonna die, boy.
You did. But also, I've lost my train of thought. It was Skiff. Oh yeah, talking about Skiff. The end of the book.
Yeah.
It didn't feel like it was rushed or anything, and it also didn't feel like a cop-out or anything. It didn't sit quite well with me, but I think it might. I think after discussing it last time, I think it's because it is set in the pandemic.
Yeah. It's because I thought at first Penn was just ignoring the facts, the pandemic, which that's not an insult. That's not a dig. Because, you know, it's his fucking book and Johnny Thompson's fucking alive, so he can ignore the pandemic if he fucking wants to.
That's right.
So the fact that it came up at all, I was like, oh, you are talking about this, you know?
But thinking about it as well, it was an ending that did work for Random, because it was random events that made everything work out in the end.
Yes, yeah.
But in having said that, when you were not introduced to Skiff, but when Bobby confronts him for the first time, and it mentions that Skiff has got a cough, it's like, oh, well, yeah, he's going to die from some form of illness. Yeah. And then it's revealed that it's the outbreak is happening.
Yeah, because it's very much like, you know, that trope of when a lady in a Victorian novel coughs, it's like, oh, yeah, she's going to die.
Black lung.
Coughs and looks sadly into the distance.
Yes. And then the handkerchief slowly falls to the ground, and then she collapses, and it's
and you see that she's been coughing up blood the whole time.
Oh yeah. The handkerchief is falling, and you see it's in slow-mo, and there's blood spot all on it. It's like, oh my, Lady Barrington is no longer for this world.
Yeah, that's what that felt a bit like. But that, again, tropes are tropes for a reason. That's not a bad thing.
Yeah. But also, we discussed. I think it is set up to make a sequel if they want to, with Rupert.
Penn's talked about. Somebody asked him about a sequel. He says, I don't think he's got a plan for one just now, but he's open to the possibility. That was the impression I got.
I think if it is going to production as a TV show, there's no need to make another book of it. But, well, no, that's not true. That's not true, because there was a show that I really liked, the first 2 seasons of it, You, right?
Yeah.
That's what the show is called. I'm not saying that you know what the show is. The show is called You. And the first 2, after watching them, I listened to the audiobooks, because, like, who wants to read, unless it's because I have issues with reading. I don't really enjoy it, but listening is a lot easier, except for Random. It was an odd duck case. And the audiobooks, they're a little bit different, but I think they were superior to the TV show. And, interesting fact, in season 2 of You, Jenna Ortega is in it, who is also in Wednesday. Have you seen Wednesday?
I haven't. I'm not really keen to watch it, to be honest.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. We'll talk about this later. But then season 3 came out, and I watched the first episode, and I'm like, well, this is not making much sense to me, because the way that the book 2 ended is completely different to how season 2 ended. And after I've started listening to book 3 now, it's completely different to season 3.
Yeah.
So a book can probably be better than a TV show. So maybe he needs to do both. But do they need to be the same, or do they need to be like conflicting universes?
I think it needs to be conflicting universes, because I think it's more interesting considering it's random. That's kind of built into it. I think that having different choices and outcomes happen in the TV show to what happens in the book is more interesting. But I'll leave that totally up to him.
You know what will piss me off though? What? Is if there's someone who's writing an episode of Random or some shit, and they're gonna, I really hope it doesn't happen. It's like, we've done this show, as random, we've made every choice in the story from a dice roll.
Oh, they asked about doing that.
Off.
I've heard Penn talk about this, and that's what they wanted to do, and Penn said, no.
Yeah.
Penn is dead set against it, thankfully.
What's his name? Professor X.
Patrick Stewart.
Glass. No.
God, he's Scottish.
Yeah, exactly. I had his name earlier today because I saw
James
the trailer
McAvoy.
for this movie that is in McAvoy, yes. So he's in a movie where he's not given a script and is very improv for him. Like, obviously he knows the basic story in that. Yeah. But I feel like
you need the right actor for that.
Yeah, I think it's potential to be shit.
Yeah.
And like, what do you do if it is? As a filmmaker, you're like, well, I guess we'll still release this. And then if James McAvoy knows he's done... I'm not saying he has. I'm not saying it's bad. But imagine if you did this and you're like, I know that wasn't good. Yeah. And they're going to release this anyway. And they're putting this on me. But you had an interaction with Penn on Twitter in regards to this.
Are we keeping the music on for this?
Yes, yeah, because we're talking about random still.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I did have an interaction with Penn.
Yes, just about... actors and stuff like that.
Yeah, I did an art piece for Random, which was so when I first read it, the character of David Ingersoll, which is the main character, Bobby Ingersoll's dad, I first imagined him being played by Penn, and then it said that they had a NASCAR jacket on, and I thought of Matt Donnelly because he has a NASCAR jacket in his act. So I ended up thinking about it, and then I was like, nah, I'm just going to draw Penn as Dave Ingersoll, and posted it to Twitter. And Penn replied, and I will pull up his reply because Penn has replied to stuff I've done in the past, but he doesn't do it often, so it's always a thrilling thing that happens to me. And now I can't find it. God fucking damn it.
Well, basically, you were asking about... I can't remember exactly.
I said that I said, I've had this specific image stuck in my head since I read Random. It was either Matt Donnelly or Penn as Dave, but I went with Penn because he was the first one I imagined. Penn Jillette as Dave Ingersoll from Penn's new book Random. He replied, wow, I want to play him. Wow, beautiful. Yeah. And I was like, it's good when Penn says wow twice. That's always, A+, top comment from Penn. So I replied to that saying, out of curiosity, and of course only if you're able to say, but are there roles where you had particular people in mind, aside from Piff playing himself? Which started a whole thing. It's like, don't tempt Penn. We know his track record of NDA adherence. If he spills the beans now, the show might not make it. And I made a joke about Glenn Allie coming to beat me for tempting Penn. The long-suffering Glenn Allie. So...
have we got more random talk?
I think that's it.
Okay. So I'm going to hit the button that stops the elevator music. Oh, it doesn't fade out or anything. It just ends. I got to change that. All right. So that we can cross that off our list. See, we are unprofessional. We have a list of stuff that we want to talk about. Which episode is this? This is the accent challenge episode. And all right. We'll leave that for now, obviously, because that comes at the end. Oh, but we are 40 minutes in. So maybe it is time for 5 words that sound cool when Brogan Hastings says them? Yeah? All right. Oh, have you got the list ready yet? I'll stop the music. There you go. we'll let you pull up the list. Oh, no. Well, anyway, today's list, it comes from our good friend, Mr. Big Sexy, of the Big Sexy Digital Nomad podcast. And this time, Big Sexy, he's adhered to our request perfectly. And I saw this list, and I was like, I like these words.
There we go. Yes, I've got them.
Okay, wait, we've got the music starting.
Shortening. Cookie. Spooky. Dookie. Transatlantic.
See, when I saw this list, I saw the kooky, spooky, dookie, transatlantic, and I was like, I need to come up with another word that ends in "uki" to chuck in there. So it follows the theme and then just ends with transatlantic. I thought that would have been hilarious. But do you know what? I don't believe there's another word that ends in "uki."
There probably is, but I can't think of any.
Well, dear listener, if you think you know, write in to Hey Buddy Nice Podcast. It's admin at nicepodbud.com and let us know. And we will use that word next time. We'll redo this whole segment with all those words and the fourth "uki." Oh, you scoffed at that, Brogan. You don't,
no, I'm just...
No?
Because you do realise that there's another word in there that also doesn't have "uki."
Dookie.
Shortening.
Oh, yeah, shortening. That's what I'm saying. We need a fourth word instead of shortening.
Ah, right. So 4 words that are "uki" word. And then transatlantic.
Yeah.
Right, okay.
And then I was like, maybe we could go creepy, kooky, mysterious, spooky. But then they use "uki." But that "uki" is not a word. They're all together "uki."
No.
Ugh. And just say "kooky" again for me.
Cookie.
That sounds like something you dunk into milk.
Yeah. Now I want cookies. Thanks.
Yeah. And then shortening. Shortening, I guess you use that to make cookies.
Yeah.
And if it's Halloween time, they could be spooky. I got nothing for Dookie. No. Brogan's face just exploded.
That's funny.
We'll edit that. Oh, yeah, that's funny. We won't edit it out then.
No.
Because it's funny. Okay. Look, I'm happy to keep this episode a bit short. So maybe we'll go into... Because by the time we edit this one down, it'll probably be around 50 minutes. Does that sound okay?
Should we go to accent challenge or should we switch it up for this week so that we can do Ranchan's? Like, considering she's been waiting over a week.
But that's art talk. Okay, so you're saying we mix it up and just do straight up art talk for the rest of the show?
Yeah. I say we do art talk on a Tuesday this week and then accent challenge.
Cool. Done. We can do that. So where's our art talk list? We'll talk about Ranchan stuff at the end.
Yes.
Shall we? I think you've got 2 talking points this week for art talk. Which, if we had music for art talk, we'd be playing it right now. You'd be hearing art talk music, but we don't. So nothing we can do.
Yeah. No. So since our last episodes, we've had one P&T bi-weekly bit, which...
Oh, shit. Do we have to... Are you going to... No. We already talked about it. We're not going back. We're not rehashing old stuff that we already talked about. Because there was art talk that we did talk about. I don't know. We talked about art talk stuff, obviously.
What did we talk about? I can't even remember.
There was the Penn in his dapper as fuck suit.
Oh. See, I'd completely forgotten I'd done that. I can talk about Penn too. He was dapper as fuck.
No, we're not talking about it unless you want to.
I want to talk about Penn and his dapper.
Was that last week or was that week before now? I am so not remembering. My memory is like, hello, Wayne. I got nothing for you today.
I have no idea when anything was at all, ever again.
No.
It must have been because that was the 24th. Must have been the week before.
Yeah, it must have been. So we're not going to talk about it because we have talked about it at least twice. And you know what? I was saying to my friend how we lost like 2 full episodes, yeah. Mm-hmm. And I felt physically ill for a good half a day afterwards, yeah.
You sounded distraught.
Yeah, yep. And then I realized after talking to my friend, it's like, you know what? It just ended up being a good couple of conversations with Brogan. That's all.
Yeah.
That's all.
That's the whole point of this. I think we agreed, even if nobody would listen to this podcast, we were still going to do it because it was an excuse for us to go on and chat shit.
Yeah. But it is kind of weird that what percentage do you think of our actual conversations are not private, as in they're recorded, that other people listen to?
Oh, the parts that people listen to, I would say about 30 or 40%.
You reckon only 30 or 40? Okay, I guess when you consider like messaging and stuff like that.
We do sit and talk after and before podcasts for like a good 3 or 4 hours sometimes.
Sometimes, yeah. Sometimes we don't record. We're like, mm-hmm. Okay. But there's still a good chunk.
Yeah.
More than normal.
Yeah. More than normal.
Anyway,
art talk. Art talk. Yes. So since last time we've had a P&T bi-weekly bit, which this time was Taylor doing the French drop. And I wasn't really sure about what I was going to do for this. I'm kind of at the point where I'm like, I don't know what I'm going to do for these bits anymore. I don't have backups. So I have a playlist on YouTube that is Penn and Taylor bits that I really love. And for a while it all played fine. And then it didn't. There were like content striked or region locked, whatever. But last week when I went on to watch some of them, they were unlocked. So I could watch bits for the first time in ages, including Matt Donnelly's bit, which had been locked.
They magically reappeared.
They did magically reappear. So that was great. And one of the bits was Teller doing the French drop, which I love. I screamed when I first saw that episode.
Refresh my memory of the bit.
So it's a full-list closer. And what it is basically Penn's talking and he says, I do the talking in the act, Teller doesn't, but we write our monologues together. He used to be a language teacher. He's incredibly articulate. So for this bit, Teller's going to do the moves, but this monologue was written by him. I'm going to say it. So of course it's like incredibly highbrow, big words and stuff. Yeah. And a lot of French because it's the French drop. So Penn's going through the monologue and Teller's doing the moves and acting as he does. And there keeps being like French words in it that Teller has to like stop and come over to him. It's like whisper in his ear, like, no, there's things like sang Freud, and Teller's like, no. It's like sang what?
Sang what?
So it goes through like that, and then right at the end, there's a bit that's it's what it's supposed to be in French is le tourniquet, but Penn keeps saying le tourniquet, and Teller's like, no. It's like le tourniquet. Le tourniquet. He can't get it. And then Teller pulls out a megaphone from his jacket pocket and goes, Le tourniquet, Penn. Le tourniquet. Just drop the terminal T. Come on, everybody. And people are freaking the fuck out because Teller does not speak on stage. Teller does not actively show his mouth moving on stage. Teller has spoken on stage. Teller does.
It's a fallacy that he does. Like, I believe even Penn has said at one point that every show, Teller has at least one line.
Yes, yeah. Even in the shows that we went to, whether or not it's on stage, Teller introduces Jonesy and Penn doing jazz. Teller used to do mofo. Teller swears on stage if he stubs his toe. Teller does talk on stage, but just everybody, we all agree that Teller does not talk on stage.
Exactly.
So to see him actually actively do it, like even on Hydra, even when they were doing Hydra, Teller, although everybody knew he was singing stuff, they had a fan that he held up in front of his mouth when he was singing, which is so cute. And when he goes on like talk shows, when like one of the big ones I remember was pulling a rabbit out of a hat, which they did on Jimmy Fallon, and they're talking about animal cruelty and stuff. Like, no, we treat our animals with kindness, like, and respect. So they pull the rabbit out, and Penn goes, "You were treated with kindness and dignity and respect." Teller turns his head and goes, "Sure."
Yeah.
Speaking for the rabbit. So that bit was very cute. So that's what that bit was. It's I tried to do Penn's face different. I have a specific way I draw Penn's head, which is if art secrets here. If you crop Penn's head out of all the drawings I've done, maybe for the last 10 or 20 versions of anything I've done, and line them up, it's the exact same head.
Oh, Brogan, there is a reason why I do not draw Piff comic on stream.
Yeah, there's a reason why I don't really draw stuff on stream. So I tried to do it slightly differently, but I drew it and I was like, I don't like it. I don't like it.
Yeah.
So I do think I need to practice Penn's head in different versions.
That just sounds odd.
Let's give this Penn some head.
Let's give this a yes.
Which is a reference from Wayne's stream for those who don't know.
There's a select few people who know. Last stream I had 9 viewers. That was a record, I think.
That's awesome.
Yeah. I'll make affiliate yet.
So yes,
we are going to end up running a bit long, so I'm not going to do any. We're going to split up Art Talk over the 2 episodes, I think.
Yeah. We could probably also cut some random down and put it in bonus content because there was a lot of non-random talk.
Yeah, right. Yeah, that'd be good for people for spoilers.
Yeah.
Did you have more to discuss about French Drop? I don't want to say, no, you may no longer talk about your art.
No, it was just good fun to draw that one. I don't have something else that I drew that I can't remember. ICS meme.
ICS bit, yeah.
That one of my favourite memes ever. I love doing that. X in my Y.
Yeah.
I think Jacob came out really good in it, so I'm very happy. I was going to say
the Jacob is very good. His hair is very blonde.
I always draw Jacob with blonde hair. I will always have. And his hair's never been blonde. But I think because I needed to distinguish it, I do the same with Schwood. Schwood has blonde hair when I draw him. But like, look, I was watching a couple of Great Night episodes, and I'm like, wow, his hair is not blonde.
No, it is not.
I think it's from when I drew the Schwood, Judy, and Mitzi on a title card, and the reference that Slaking sent me, Schwood had blonde hair, because I think I actually like color dropped.
Well, back in the day, he did have bleach blonde spiked hair, so it makes sense.
It was like because it was his hair style as it is now, but just blonde. So it must have been a while ago. So I should maybe update that reference. But there's so many brown-haired boys. I'm like, no, you're just blonde now. Fuck you.
We need a point of contention and difference for you people.
Yeah.
See, that's why I've gone the ginger. It's not my natural color. I have to dye it just so so it's easy to tell me apart.
So one of us is ginger, one of us is brown, almost black.
There you go. I need to share my screen, and you have disabled that feature because you were a very inconsiderate host.
I haven't disabled it.
No, it's because
you left and came back. That's what it is. There it was.
All right, there we go. Because we're doing some what is it? User submitted art.
User submitted art.
Yeah, user submitted art. And for user submitted art, we use because technically this was sent to us by email by Ranchan.
Yes.
Admin at nicepodbud.com. That's it. Yeah. Or nicepodbud@gmail.com. Dealer's choice. So we're going to hit the scoop. No, wait. I said this last time. Scoop. Cheese bag. See, ICS has ruined me for any mail. I'm hitting the music. Mail. Yeah, cheese bag mail. So we got an email from Rannchan. Says, okay, I'll bite. Here's some art I did this year. It's all crossover art between the video game franchises of Sonic the Hedgehog and Phoenix Wright, Ace Attorney. The first link has 3 images, the second has 4. I know it's cursed. Which is funny. But if anyone knows anything about cursed art, that would be you, Brogan.
Oh, I regularly commit crimes against art and God.
You got there in the end.
Yeah. Art crimes, God crimes, all crimes.
Yep. But we've talked about this, and I felt kind of bad because there was some things that we tried to talk about but didn't talk about, and we didn't want to talk about because this is not what was sent to us. But I reached out to Ranchan, and Ranchan's like, yeah, go for it. So we can talk about everything here on Ranchan's Instagram. Which is Ranchan Does Things. So check out Ranchan's drawings on Instagram. Yes, Ranchan Does Things on Instagram. So right now we're looking at a Sonic. That face still kills me.
I love that.
Sonic the Hedgehog as it must be Phoenix Wright.
I think we agreed it was Phoenix Wright. Yes. Very serious face, hands on the table, objection pose.
Exactly.
I think
the objection pose is
pointing.
Yeah. Objection is pointy. I had to wheel back away from the microphone so I could do the pointy, but I'll come back now nice and close. But it is the face, the brow, the furrowed brow, the angry look.
Yeah.
And we talked about it's all done traditional art as well. It is inked lines.
Yeah.
Which I could not do that.
I think both you and I said last time that. So the shading is done like hatching, cross-hatching.
Yeah,
that kind of stuff.
Or strokes, I guess, the lines. Yeah, but there is cross-hatching down there for the shadow on the underarm and that.
But you and I are both quite envious.
In awe of the capability.
Envious in a non-toxic way.
Yeah. And then we've got Shadow. Shadow the Hedgehog as
Miles Edgeworth. Now, I should probably clarify that I don't think either of us have played Phoenix Wright games.
No, we have not played Phoenix Wright, but I think we're fairly familiar with the Sonic universe.
We're very familiar with Sonic universe, and I'm vaguely familiar with Phoenix Wright games. It's one I've been meaning to play, so I know kind of some of the characters.
And look, I just got to say, all right, Sonic's on our left, his hand, the sausagey fingers, but that's fine. He's a hedgehog. But the hand, Shadow's hand, is really good.
Shadow's hand is awesome.
It is a great hand. But speaking of hands, on our title cards that we used for the Who Scoops episodes, we used Chris's art for yours with you as Thanos. And I have to look at it again because the one I'm looking at is covered up with the title, but I believe the thumb is going across the front of all of your fingers. So you've got a huge thumb.
Are you just going to shit on Chris today?
No, I like it. It's good. There's no mean criticism going on here. I like it. Yeah,
I can do that.
I'm saying from what I could see, yeah, but it's going over the top of the fingers though as well. So you can't. It's not possible. But hands suck. Hands and horses. Imagine having to draw a horse with hands. Fuck. The next one we're looking at is, I think, the best face of the lot, and that is Amy. Yeah. It's a front on, where the other two are sort of 3/4 profile, right? Yeah. Whereas the front on, it's. I think I know why I like it. It reminds me of Samurai Pizza Cats.
Ah, I can see. Yeah,
that's what it is. Yeah. Do we know who this character is from the Phoenix Wright, the Ace Attorney?
We did.
World?
Did. It's annoying because I'll know it as soon as I see it.
Yeah.
Maya Fey.
I'm
sure that's how you pronounce
which we recognized from the big necklace.
Yeah. Mia Maya. Fey. There's a Maya and a Mia. That's not helpful. Gosh. I think it's Maya.
Mia.
Yeah, Maya.
But this one as well, I like how the hatching line shading. Yeah. It's different. It's varying degrees of pressure, I guess, applied is the way to describe it, because it's like different amounts of ink. Yeah, line weights. There we go. To speak digital terms, I guess it's not just digital. It's traditional line weights and stuff. I think that one could be my favorite until we look at Tails the Fox. Tails, Miles, Tails, Prower, which, again, we said this when we talked about it the first time. Why was Tails not Miles? Because
the
name, but
there was a good fun opportunity there.
Yeah. But, again, that hand. Look at his hand. That's a good hand. I love that.
And honestly, drawing suits, drawing shirts, waistcoats, and suits is one of my favourite things to do, and I love seeing that. That's probably why it's one of the reasons why I love drawing Penn and Teller so much.
As someone who was once described as, my boy here doesn't know how to draw a collar, I appreciate this a lot. Yeah. Because I've gotten better. I can actually draw collars to some degree now, but that is it is dapper as fuck.
Yeah, love it.
But that is why Tails is this character, because it's the perfect pose.
Yeah. Did we decide who Tails? Did we find out who Tails was?
We may have, but I have no recollection.
Me neither.
That's we're just letting down the team with the
Tails, babe. I'm so sorry.
The Ace Attorney side of things. That's our bad. As if we didn't have time to research because we hadn't talked about it already.
As if we didn't have extra time to research.
Exactly. I've just noticed the size of these as well. They're not gigantic, are they?
No, they're actually
they're on small cards. They're bigger than a playing card, smaller than a greeting card.
Yeah. Like half A5.
And maybe? A half A5 would be A6 then, I guess?
Yeah.
We're not going into this again. We've had our DPI talk a few episodes back. But next up is, I think we decided it was Silver Sonic, isn't it?
Yeah.
Silver Sonic? Yeah. Because I'm from the days where it was Metal Sonic and stuff like that in the video games. But yeah, I think it was Silver Sonic. And again, another character we don't know, but holding like a bow staff and a fan, looks like they could mess you up.
I think he is actually Metal Sonic now looking at it, but did you know Metal Sonic has a name?
Is it Frederico?
It's not. It's Archie. Oh. His name's Archie.
Archie! I know an Archie. I saw Archie yesterday. It's totally not relevant to this conversation. I just thought I'd mention it. No. Shout out to Archie.
But yeah, I love Metal Sonic.
Silver Sonic. Metal Sonic is Archie.
Yeah.
Is his name. Wow. his best friend Jughead or something. That's all I know about Archie comics. And then I don't know who this Sonic character is.
This is Silver the Fox.
Silver the Fox.
Yeah.
Is a silver fox.
Yeah.
And look, my boy, he's got a cup of coffee by the looks of things.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And the thing over his face.
The visor.
Is the visor a Silver Fox thing, Silver the Fox, or is it the Ace Attorney character?
It's the Ace Attorney character, because I do remember that from looking it up. I can't remember who the character is. I'm
going to go with Mr. Visorhead.
It's very Geordie LaForge.
Yeah. No, it's Cyclops. It's more. No, not quite.
I've also
Geordie is like that. It's very thin, and Cyclops is big with a thin red line.
That's true.
Yeah.
I've also just noticed that he's got the armbands on his shirt to hold up his
sleeve,
to keep his sleeves in place. I love that.
Oh, is that what they are?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yep. I see him now, halfway up the bicep, at the bicep. Yeah. And we've got one more. That's right. I forgot about Knuckles. Knuckles is the best. The little soul patch Knuckles.
Love it.
It's the smug look on his face, I think, that is doing it. I think what kills me about this one is it doesn't have the same depth to it on like the brow. Whereas you look at the Sonic and the Tails, you can see the depth on the forehead, but this, it's pretty good.
I love it. I love the jacket.
And
I'm very clothes orientated.
Cool. Yeah, I think all Sonic characters should wear clothes at all times.
Yes.
Yeah. But we also asked if we could talk about these Pokemon cards that Ranchan overpaints as well.
They're so cute.
They are pretty cool. So we're looking at this is Owlet. Is that
Rowlet.
its name? Rowlet. Okay, I was close. Basically, taken a Pokemon card and just painted over. I think it's all of it except for the original art on it. So gone over everything and expanded it. So Rowlet is flying free through like a forest over a river, and basically that's been expanded to cover the whole card.
Yeah.
Except for the painted yellow border, which did you see they are removing from Pokemon cards now?
Are they?
Yeah, I saw something about that. They're getting rid of the yellow border.
That's a staple. But did they not do that for a while as well? They changed up the Pokemon design that it was like silver or something. They made them look like...
Don't know. I don't know if they're just going to bleed to the edges or what. I did not read it. It could have been lie. I did not Snopes.com that information. But what I like mostly about this one... Pokemon trading cards will no longer
feature iconic yellow border.
Yeah, there you go.
And it's moving to silver.
Okay. The fox? My favourite part about this one is the rock in the river.
I love
where
that.
It's got the water hitting it, going around it. I do like that.
Because that's a detail
much.
that Ranchan put in, which I love.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that was added by Ranchan. And then we've got a Dratini, yeah? Yep, got a Dratini card. But another, Dratini is a water Pokemon, isn't it? Yeah, so it's over a lake. And
Dragon type Pokemon.
Dragon type, but also waterish. Whatever. I don't know my Pokemons that well. But I think the expanded art that Ranchan has done is better than the official Pokemon art. Like the flowers continuing on from the log or whatever it is that Dratini is sitting upon.
It's almost like a sort of natural bridge.
Yeah.
And I love that because you can see that's a detail that Ranchan's added.
Yeah, well, there's a tiny little bit of the... Oh, no, you're 100% right. Yeah, of course. Because Dratini might have just been sitting in a grassy field or something.
Yep.
But
next to a lake.
No, that's smart. Yeah, Yep. See, but I don't have much of an imagination. I would have just drawn grass and been like, there we go. Dratini on a grassy field, ready to play some sports ball. And then, look, this one, I guess technically still art. It's a Sprigatito pumpkin carved, which I really like.
That's cute.
Because that that is my starter Pokemon for the new game, which I have only played a couple of hours of, and I'm probably not going to play ever again. Because that's what I do with Pokemon. I start it, and it's like, yay, and then I just don't go back to it because I'm very bad at Pokemon games. I don't know what I'm doing.
I think I'm just waiting for them to remake Sun and Moon, because those were the peak Pokemon games.
Yeah. But thank you very much for sending in your artwork for us, Ranchan. We enjoy looking at people's arts. So if you have arts, we've said it a couple of times, email us, admin@nicepodbud.com. You can just drop JPEGs or PNGs, whatever, or link us to your social media, and we will pimp you out. We will tell people to go and find you. And to also look at your stuff. See how that music faded out then? I was smart enough to do it with that, but not with the other music. What is wrong with me? But I think that's it, Brogan. We're going to have to go. So it's the housekeeping portion, isn't it?
Yep.
But yeah. So I guess we should direct you all to go to, it's Christmas time. Why would you not buy Christmas gifts for people? And why not get them from our store?
Yes. And remember, store jingle and search Hey Buddy Nice Podcast and chuck a little bit of jingle over to our buds at ICS or nicepodbuds.com/store or shop.
Yeah, exactly. But you mentioned it before that you do commit crimes against art and God. You can get that on a shirt.
Yes,
yeah.
I will.
Someone purchased a I vote for Wayne shirt.
Did they?
They did.
Reveal yourself, villain.
That makes me feel a little bit better at losing so many accent challenges.
It's almost like when that quote from Game of Thrones, if somebody has to say, I am the king, they are no true king.
Yeah. Well, whatever. I'm hitting the outro music. But yeah, you can reach out to us on social media, all channels, at NicePodBud. That's NicePodBud. And I've just realized that some people, into their marijuana might think we're completely something else.
What?
They might think that we're talking about drugs. NicePodBud. Bud, I don't know, whatever. Anyway, you can also follow and talk to Brogan on social media at 7 Billion Needles.
And you can talk to Wayne at Wayne Geo on everything.
Everything except for Facebook, which we don't talk about anymore.
Exactly.
But anyway, thanks for stopping by and having a listen.
And as always, stay fresh, cheese bags.